Lewes was founded almost 400 years ago, and people are still choosing to call it home today. It's in fact the very first town in the very first state. Lewes is unlike anywhere else with its history, its unique character, and its great investment potential. Today, I'm going to break down why Lewes is one of the most unique markets on the coast and what life is really like here. Now, if you're thinking about making a move to Coastal Delaware, this video is for you. Let's start with a little bit of history because it's pretty interesting when you dive into it. Lewes sits on the same ground where European settlers first arrived in Delaware nearly 400 years ago. Now, this place is the oldest settlement in all of Delaware, and it was first founded by the Dutch in 1631. Back then, it was known as Zwanendale. Now, most beach towns are maybe 100 or 150 years old, but Lewes was here way before the United States even existed as a country, which is really crazy to think about. Now, those early years were tough, and the settlers in this area faced some incredible challenges, but they still left a mark that you can certainly feel today. Things like our architecture, our street layouts, and there's even some places that are named after certain things that carry Dutch heritage, so there's really touches of it all over town. By 1818, the town was officially incorporated as the trustees of the town of Lewes, which set up local governance and really laid the groundwork for everything that came after it. Now, over the years, changes have expanded voting rights, public services, and more, which really built the foundation for the thriving community that we see and love today. And speaking of community, in a little bit, I'm going to show you the real estate prices, which is something that I know everyone wants to know, so stick around and we'll dive into those in just a minute. Now, the location itself is amazing. Lewes sits right where the Lewes-Rehoboth Canal meets the Delaware Bay, and that waterfront spot gives the town its unique character and is such an important part of its history. The land was granted back in 1681 by the Penn family, which is, yes, the same family behind Pennsylvania, and it is also home to the Cape Henlopen State Park, so you get maritime heritage and natural preservation all in one gorgeous town, and that's part of what makes Lewes so special. Being on the bay changes the entire experience. The waters in Lewes are going to be calmer than the ocean beaches that you find in Rehoboth or Dewey, which give you different recreation options and a much more relaxed beach experience than some of those bigger waves beaches. Now, the history is deep, but it's the location that really keeps people coming back for generations. I think what we need to talk about is what the town offers every day for living. Lewes has found a way to honor its past while still embracing modern life. You don't have to give up convenience for character. You can certainly get both. And while that balance is rare, Lewes really excels at it. Now, during the summer months, there are certain areas where there are lifeguards, which many people love. They've also got bathhouses for, utilizing the restroom, some mobility mats to make beach access easier for those people in wheelchairs and strollers. And you can even rent beach wheelchairs for those that struggle with mobility. That level of thought shows how committed Lewes is to making the beach welcoming for everyone, even those with mobility challenges. By the way, if we've not met, I'm Matt Lunden, a local real estate agent and content creator, and each week we put out new content here on YouTube diving into all things Coastal Delaware, from the lifestyle to the real estate scene and so much more. So if that's something that you would like to see some more of, do us a favor and just hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any of our future videos that we put out. Back to our beaches, we've got Savannah Beach and Johnny Walker Beach, which provide access to parking, those guarded beaches, and restrooms for the day trippers who need those close conveniences because they're just in their car and they don't have any other access. Now, these beaches feel natural and protected, and again, they've got calmer waters that are perfect if you want a low-key day. If you're not looking for a parking lot and some lifeguards, you can just head further north along the beach line. Now, there's also Cape Henlopen State Park, which I mentioned before, which is truly a gem of our area. You've got miles of trails that wind through the park for hiking and biking. There's a nature center that's got programs to connect you to the coastal ecosystem. You could spend a whole day in there. Then there's Fort Miles in the Cape Henlopen State Park, which during World War II, it was a critical defensive post guarding the Delaware Bay and the shipping lanes up to Philadelphia. Built in 1941, Fort Miles became part of a massive coastal defense network, and at its peak, more than 2,000 soldiers were stationed here. What's striking is how well preserved it is today, now functioning as a museum. You can actually walk through the bunkers that once stored ammunition. You can climb the fire control towers where soldiers calculated firing solutions, and you can stand in the gun emplacements that held massive artillery pieces. You can stand right next to some of these big, huge guns that they used to use. It's really a cool place. The views from these historic positions are absolutely breathtaking, and the mix of natural beauty and wartime history makes Fort Miles well worth your time, particularly for the history buffs in your family. Now, Lewes' historic and cultural scene runs much deeper than you'd expect for a town of this size. The Cannonball House Maritime Museum, for example, is another great opportunity if you are into the historical stuff. It got its name from an actual cannonball that got lodged into the foundation. It's still there today, which is a relic from the bombardment of Lewes in April 1813, which is when the British bombarded the town during the War of 1812. Now, the building itself dates back all the way to 1765, making it one of the oldest buildings in town. Now it functions as a museum, so you'll find some ship models, some navigational instruments from the 18th and 19th centuries. There's some artifacts from shipwrecks and exhibits about the Bay pilots who guided ships and still to this day guide ships up into Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the Lewes Historical Society takes preservation even further with their full campus of historic buildings. Really a cool place. The Burton Ingram House, which was built around 1785, has federal-style architecture, original woodwork, and period furnishings that reflect the lives of wealthy merchant families back in the day. There's a doctor's office there on the campus, which is from 1836. Then there's the Rabbit's Ferry House, which was built around 1740 and one of the oldest documented structures in Delaware, which I think is super cool that we have it right here in Lewes. When you walk through these properties, it isn't like stepping into like this sterile museum where you can't touch anything. I mean, these are authentic spaces where people actually lived, worked, and helped shape Delaware's early history and made it the state that we all know and love today. Now, walking downtown does feel like you're stepping a bit through living history with modern restaurants, shops, and services right along 18th century buildings. 2nd Street downtown is absolutely special. On 2nd Street, you'll find unique boutiques, some local shops with things that you can't really find online or in malls, some local arts, and farmers markets offering fresh produce and artisan goods, particularly during the summertime, just a few steps away from 2nd Street. If we make our way over to Lewes Beach, we've got the Lewes Yacht Club, which creates a true maritime community for boaters and sailors. We also have the Cape Water Taxi Eco Tours that launch right from town, giving you a fresh perspective on the bay and its intertwined ecosystems. Again, really a truly great ride. Now, the community itself backs all of this up. Annual surveys consistently show residents rate livability and local government services are well above the national averages. People are engaged in planning and keeping the town running smoothly, which means parks are well maintained, services respond quickly, and quality of life is a priority for everyone. Now, this mix of amenities creates a lifestyle that works year-round, not just during the summer months like we see in many other beach towns. Now, a great lifestyle only matters if you can find the right home. So let's take a look at what the real estate market looks like right now. And here's the thing, the market for real estate is competitive. It's not in the crazy bidding war sense that we saw just a few years ago, but it is competitive in the sense that there's not still a ton of options on the market unless you're open to looking further from the beaches. And as of the recording of this video, homes in Lewes are selling in roughly 60 days, which is not lightning fast, but it's still steady and predictable, which shows a healthy and stable market. Now, properties don't typically sit for months on end, and buyers still do have some time to make thoughtful decisions without feeling rushed, but just know that about 60 days on average is how long they're staying on the market. Now, as of September 2025, the median sale price in Lewes hit $983,000 in the downtown area, but not every area is the same. And the Lewes zip code is massive, which is 19958, and the average house price across the entire zip code is only $659,000, which is still up 10% year over year, but it is considerably less than that of the downtown area. Now, that's why working with an experienced local agent matters. Your neighborhood, your street, how close you are to the beach, all of these things can influence value and influence what you can actually sell your home for. Now, inventory is tight across the board. Hot listings that are priced well and priced right will sell in just a few days, not often months. Homes that check all the boxes are still selling fast, so just make sure that your home is primed and ready to go before it hits the market. Now, those historic district homes carry a similar median price as the downtown, but they are very different. You get some original details. You got that awesome historical architecture and character from centuries ago. You got the great walkability of the downtown area. Now, there is a premium for that combination of heritage and convenience, so those properties tend to sell for a little bit more. Now, buyers do have some negotiating room, but sellers aren't necessarily desperate. It's a balanced market where both sides can really feel good if the price is right from the start. The sellers don't feel like they're getting taken advantage of, and buyers don't feel like they're getting taken advantage of. Now, in Lewes, you're buying lifestyle first and investment second, but the investment side is still very strong. With limited inventory, historic charm, and the bay location, they all create this natural scarcity that supports property values over time. So this is a place with real lasting appeal. It's not just some fad that's overnight. Now, again, the numbers are important, but they don't really tell you the real reasons why people love calling Lewes home. So I think we should dive a little bit into that. Many are drawn to the beachfront living that's manageable year-round, and Lewes stands out because it doesn't completely shut down after Labor Day like many other seasonal towns. Some other seasonal towns turn into complete ghost towns from October through April, where restaurants close, services disappear, and the town just feels like a desolate, empty ghost town. But Lewes keeps life going all year long with active social calendars, real sense of community, and it makes all the difference for those full-time residents. Nature and history lovers are absolutely drawn to Lewes for the obvious reasons that we discussed earlier between our historical side and the Cape Henlopen State Park. We've got things like protected environments, we got pollinator gardens from the dunes to the wildlife areas, and all of those things appeal to some conservation-minded residents. Now, maritime museums and colonial heritage sites have real history to them, and this isn't just a fake theme. It's genuine first settlement in Delaware history. It's not some facade from a theme park. They're actual real buildings. Now, data backs up what people feel. A 2024 community survey found that residents gave Lewes high marks with praise for parks and quality of life that well exceeded the national averages for these scores. Now, homeownership sits at 87%, showing long-term commitment rather than short-term renting, and that creates a stable, invested community that truly cares about their neighbors. Now, people here love the small town feel combined with the sophisticated amenities. They enjoy living history without feeling trapped in the past. They value the natural beauty and protected coastline and are willing to pay for it because they know what they're getting, and they really enjoy the lifestyle that's increasingly rare and much harder to find. Lewes stands out as a town where history and modern coastal life have come together and made this beautiful blend. Nearly 4 centuries of heritage mixed with contemporary living to create a lifestyle that you're not going to find anywhere else on the Delaware coast. So if you're serious about making Lewes your home, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. If we can help provide clarity on your personal situation, or if we can answer any questions that you may have at all of our contact information is going to be down below in the description. We appreciate you tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next one.